First year you came,
Yeah.
when you came out in the costume and you were in the audience and you asked the question, there was a very palpable sense of you understanding that this is a character people have a lifelong affection for, that they have deep attachments to, and that you don't casually walk in to play something like that.
Yeah.
Now that you've gone through it once and you're returning to the character, how is it different for you? And going around the world and seeing people's reactions, has that made you feel more responsible for the character?
I don't know if I could feel any more responsible than I felt immediately. You know, I appreciate the question. I just know how much it means. I just know how much it means to everybody, and how it belongs to everyone. But in terms of having had a second run at it, you know, it's my feelings remain. You know, my intentions just remain the same, you know, and I think carried into the second one, we because of that passion, passion attracts passion, you know. So for the second film, we have these writers, Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orsi, who wrote Star Trek, and they're me. I'm them. We love we love Spider-Man so much, and we needed Spider-Man so much growing up. So I think that has created a framework for us to do something expansive and special, and hopefully add to the already bountiful Spider-Man universe.
What's interesting is I think one of the things that you guys have been very smart about is not necessarily repeating characters we've seen in the earlier films.
Right.
Jamie's look as Electro is wild. Like the first glimpse you get of it, it's a real. It is a more fantastic version of a Spider-Man villain than I think some films might have done.
Yeah.
And I like that you guys are going for that. That you guys are really going for the big versions.
Oh, good.
In terms of introducing Jamie into the cast and the energy of that, how's that been?
You know, he's Jamie Foxx, first of all, and you kind of, you know, the fan in me kind of gets tongue-tied and silent, and I just turn into this black hole of a person. So because he's just Jamie Foxx. He's just sat next to Jamie Foxx, and you're just hanging out with Jamie, playing basketball with Jamie Foxx. I don't know how to be. That's the first thing that happens. But then of course, like with all the great actors that are also great people, he becomes Jamie. He becomes a person, and that's amazing. So him stepping in, and again, I just talk about passion. His daughter is, you know, one of the biggest Spider-Man fans in the universe.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome to be able to go home and have somebody be thrilled with what you're doing.
Yeah, and exactly. And so he's showing up for her, and he's showing up for himself, and he's showing up to have fun and blow it up. And it's as long as there's your heart and your guts, and you're putting all of that into it. You know, it's part of you may expect like a big movie star like Jamie Foxx to show up and be like, no, I'm gonna phone it in or whatever. No. He's a consummate actor. He's an artist, and he has a high standard of work, and he gives it his all, and it's inspiring for me.
When you're doing characters like this that are so big, even just in terms of visual design. Like, I love the one photo we've seen of Giamatti so far. He's not in the outfit, but he's got the crazy crisscross of his forehead. And I know that Giamatti's a massive genre fan. Like, he eats and breathes this stuff.
Yeah.
So is Mark's job really to calibrate how big you guys go? Because the characters are already somewhat giant to begin with. Right.
I think that's a great question, and I think a lot of that is casting. I think, Mark casts incredibly well. You know, no matter what costume you put Paul Giamatti in, no matter what lines he has, no matter what he's doing, you know it's going to be believable. And I remember I showed up on set the day after they had shot their first day with Paul, and Mark was like, check this out. He showed me one take, and it was like a 5-minute take of Paul just riffing as Alexei.
Okay.
And I was like, that's the movie, that's the energy. But I was also like, that guy exists. How does that person exist? It's so, and I'm like, oh my God, he's already the Rhino. Like, he's already like a Rhino in human form. He's somehow like, like his voice and his physicality and the barbed wire and he knows exactly what every single tattoo means in terms of the Russian mafia, but like it is expansive, like people are in life, like lunatics are in life, but also it's his feet are so firmly rooted to the ground that you believe it, and it makes me go, okay, I've got to work harder. You know what I mean? And it's
It's interesting because a lot of times with films of this size, and especially where there's this much scrutiny, secrecy is an issue.
Right.
But you guys are dealing with storylines that are decades old, that people have already a very firm attachment to. So there's some sense that people already believe they know what's going to happen.
Right.
You guys are also trying to deliver things that they don't expect or understand. How is that in terms of maintaining that? How hard do you guys work to keep certain secrets under wraps?
Well, luckily that's not really my job. I just have to watch my tongue,
right?
You know, and I can do that pretty well. I mean, I say that now, but touch wood or touch Comic-Con panel board thing. You know, it's a tough thing because we live in public now, and part of that, it bums me out. Remember Catfish? Remember how good that campaign was? Remember The Sixth Sense? Before all this, remember that amazing twist at the end? Like, we can't. It's so hard to achieve that now in an event movie, you know. And I think it's a real shame. And I think
especially
because
when you guys are shooting on locations, that makes it like triple difficult.
No, sure. I mean, all I know is that I know that if there is information out there and we can have the information, we want it, and if we have access to it, then we should have it. But I think, you know, we have to. I think we as an audience, as film goers, have to show a little restraint for that. We have to put that kid in the cage a little bit and go, you know what? I want to go and be surprised. Yeah. I want the experience to wash over me, and that takes discipline. That takes personal discipline, because we have access to literally everything. I'm sure you could go online and find out every single detail you wanted to about me, and I could do the same thing with you.
Yes.
Terrifying to me, and that just doesn't feel like a natural way to live for me. But yeah, I mean, I think I want to protect the film in the sense of I just want people to experience it I just want people, because I've got a really good feeling about it.
Well, I'm excited by the father-son team in the movie, by having Chris Cooper and Dane DeHaan as father and son, and that is, you talk about two volcanoes, two big guys.
Yes.
So, what has that addition to the cast done in terms of dynamic and what you guys have been playing?
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Great question. When we're talking about casting and, like, you know, obviously I've very thankfully I've been more. I was led into the inner sanctum in terms of the production on this one a bit more. I kind of had to beat my way in a little bit on the first one to, you know, because, you know, I'm just an actor that's showing up, but I'm passionate about the character, and they felt that. So, you know, Mark and Matt and Arvi, they've opened their doors to me. So we all just want the best actors, you know. We just want the best actors that are gonna serve this story. So we're all telling the same story. And as far as Dane goes, I've been a fan of his since Chronicle, and when I saw him in Chronicle, I was like, this guy is special, and, you know, and he's a rare talent, and we all know Chris Cooper, and we all know what he has to give, but I don't think you've seen him give what he's going to give in this yet. Same with Dane. I think Dane could quite possibly steal the show, as he tends to do when he's on screen.
Well, sir, it's very exciting. I cannot wait to see the footage and
Cool.
then see the film this summer. And as of right now, you're my 5-year-old's favorite movie.
Dude.
The first one is his favorite movie.
That's all I need to know.
So,
I'm going to sleep incredibly well tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Take care.
For breaking entertainment news and more, follow @HitFix on Twitter or visit hitfix.com.